What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today I watched Transformers last night.
I want to stay, and I want to fight this.
What was that? That was a mistake.
So Transformers The Last Night is Transformers The Last Night is the fifth and maybe final movie directed by Michael Bay, starring Mark Wahlberg and a bunch of other people. So yeah, this movie is not worth me describing the plot to you because I don't know the plot. I have no clue what the plot is. I sat there and I physically took notes, and I still do not know what the plot is to this movie. So with every movie there's good and bad, and let's talk about the good. So with the Transformers movies, there is always some amazing visuals, and we got that in this movie. And I will say, everything else, that we're not talking about the negatives yet, but the last 20 minutes of this movie did pick up for me, and it's one of the better endings of the Transformers franchise. A lot of cool fight scenes, a lot of cool visuals, a lot of cool action scenes, and the score was good. Let's see, I wrote some notes down here. The little girl was good, even though she had no reason to be in the movie. The most epic game of polo I've ever seen in my life, Michael Bay shot that. It was really cool. It was filmed like an action scene. The stuff with Optimus Prime in space was cool, all 7 minutes. And the exact same character, if you guys watch Hell or High Water, you know this. The character from Hell or High Water was actually in this movie. Not just the actor, it was the character, because he was a sheriff and they were being racist towards him. Oh, and the Bud Light product placement made me thirsty. So I just watched Transformers, and since it's filmed with IMAX cameras and normal cameras, instead of doing different scenes where the aspect ratio would change, it was actually the same scene where the aspect ratio would change multiple times. So you'd have some shots like this and some shots like this, and it was just back and forth. I literally have a head. I am actually in bed because it hurt my head. It takes away from the visuals. It's the best part of the I'm going to sleep. I want to start off with some lines for you that I actually wrote down after they said them in the movie. Are you ready? We're kids. We can get away with anything. Talking to Mark Wahlberg. You were that guy in Transformers? Like the movie? The robot says to Anthony Hopkins. That weird thing that we've been waiting for 1,600 years to happen, I think it's happening this time. So, at the main end of the movie, the little girl who just pops up everywhere says, Hey, can I come to the final bloody battle? This is summarizing, she didn't actually say this. Can I come to the final bloody battle with you? Of course, hop on, we'll take you to the front lines. Yeah, if you can't tell, the dialogue in this movie was terrible. It's some of the worst in the Transformers franchise. At this point, I feel like Michael Bay is just messing with us. He's just pulling our legs because we know, and he knows, that the dialogue in these movies are never the strongest. And I feel like it's gotten progressively worse, and now it's to the point to where Michael Bay actually finds it funny to write the worst dialogue he possibly can. I feel like he got a bunch of fourth graders into a room, and he just threw some crayons at him and said, write words, and that's what was in the movie. Another thing Michael Bay doesn't seem to care about is continuity. There are 3 occasions that will not spoil the entire film for you, but I just want to lay these out for you real quick. Ready? So there is a scene when Transformers are coming from space, and it's a samurai Transformer, right? Now, previously in the Transformers movies, we have established that when a Transformer comes to Earth, they find something, and then they transform into it, right? So I want to know, how did that samurai Transformer know what a samurai was before he was on Earth? Now, that could be something, but here's another example. So in this movie, there's a really cool scene where Bumblebee gets torn apart by bullets, and he puts himself back together and does some really cool flips and shoots these guys, and it was actually a really cool scene. But continuity-wise, didn't the first Transformers have a scene with Megan Fox driving Bumblebee around because his legs got shot off? If it was the same now as it is then, couldn't he have just sucked his legs back on since, apparently the guy can't die? And the whole Transformers being here for a long time thing, man, I feel like that was something that should have at least been touched upon or slightly explored in the last ones. But it just comes out of nowhere, and Transformers were here, they were doing this, they were doing that, and they've been everywhere, and somehow people just
They just don't know. There's so many forced emotional scenes. The little girl that we don't care about, I actually think she did a really good job, but we don't care about her character because we get nothing about her prior, and she seems to cry in every single scene, and the fact that we don't care about her makes her crying scenes, like, invalid to me, and it's really sad because she could end up being a pretty good actress. The scene when Mark Wahlberg shows up, it's like a parody. The car curves around, really slow motion, he gets out firing bullets. It's just like something you'd see in Scary Movie that they're making fun of. There were occasions when the robots' mouths were moving and the words didn't match up. I noticed that 3 times, and so did my brother, so I'm glad I wasn't the only one. It was cool to see Megatron in the movie being voiced by Frank Welker, the original Megatron, but he was just cheesy. He was all exposition. In the very first scene he's in, for some reason he keeps shooting fire, and it's never explained why he's doing it. He just keeps shooting, like, why? There's a scene ripped straight out of Suicide. All the stuff I'm explaining makes no sense, by the way. There's a scene ripped straight out of Suicide Squad where they do these characters, the evil robots, who are never explored and we never know anything about them, but it shows the name and it has this funky music playing and they're assembling bad robots to take out the good robots, you know what I mean? Which, why? That it really helped nothing in the movie. It wasn't explained. I like the C-3PO ripoff, but they even called it a C-3PO ripoff, which I thought was a little bit too on the nose. There's a car chase that Michael Bay attempts to make cool, but they're telling jokes the entire time, and it's not shot very well, so that wasn't cool either. I think my biggest problem with this movie is there are a lot of scenes, more than any of the other Transformers movies, without actual Transformers. Oh, and by the way, Optimus Prime, he's in the movie for maybe 10-15 minutes, and that's it, and he was, you know, on the main poster, and the last night, another thing that was explored a lot in the promotional material. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but whoever that last night is wields that big old sword, you know, the last night, wields the sword for maybe 20 seconds. Why is it called The Last Night? There are scenes when characters go into these concealed, small, tight places where they couldn't possibly find different clothes, yet the next scene they're wearing different clothes. That happens throughout the entire movie. One thing is happening in this scene, and the next scene something completely different is happening. There is either something missing, which I don't know how anything could be missing because this movie felt like 5 hours, even though it's the shortest of all of them. There was a Martha moment at the main end. If you've watched Batman v Superman, you'll understand that without spoilers. Oh, and the whole Optimus Prime being evil thing, I'm gonna spare you guys. He came back, and you know that fight scene you see in the trailer? That's it. That's all. He's gone the whole movie, comes back, evil for about 10 seconds, then he's fine. That whole marketing and promotional push for Optimus Prime being evil is the biggest load of crap I think I've ever seen. We also had a really awkward death scene at the end. I'm not going to spoil who the character was, but oh man, was it really bad. I kid you not, during the climactic battle, Optimus Prime says,
"Say hello to my little friend."
Followed by Bumblebee saying, "Sting like a bee." Now look, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but when you're an hour and 45 minutes into the movie, you feel like the movie should be over. You still have 35 minutes left, and things just begin to kick into gear, and you're just now starting to be at least moderately entertained. That is not a good sign. My brother and I were blown away at how lazy this script was, how incredibly dull this movie was, and how the characters were all just really ignorant, and how nothing really had to do with each other. There were scenes that were never resolved. There were plot points that were never figured out. I know it sounds weird, but guys, this movie just was not for me, and I usually give the Transformers a pass. I'm actually going to do a Transformers countdown soon where I count down my favorite to least favorite. And I just feel like Michael Bay got lazy with this one, I really do. And I'm going to go ahead and give Transformers The Last Night a 28% out of 100%.
You guys want to know what I thought about Transformers? I'll give it to you in 2 words. It sucks.
Wow, I'm glad that's over. So what did you guys think about Transformers The Last Night? Did you think it was better or worse than the other Transformers movies? And like I said, I usually give them a pass, not this time, but I will be doing a countdown series very soon with all the Transformers movies. Maybe I will even include the animated one. You guys are the absolute best. Be sure to like, subscribe, hashtag, do all the things that you want to do, and I'll catch you later.
Say hello to my little friend.